All right, fiatjaf. I am considering to just calling you Bob because fiatjaf is just annoying to pronounce every single time.
Bob?
Yeah, so you're Bob from now on.
No, I'm Ruben Thompson.
All right, no, I'm Ruben Thompson. How many Dutch words do you even know?
No.
Right, so it's going to be very difficult for you to pretend to be Ruben Thompson. You just pretend you're Brian. It's way easier.
Okay. You're Dutch. Okay. But Ruben doesn't do any Dutch things ever
No, that's true.
in the show.
That's true. He's barely even part of like there's this entire Dutch Bitcoin community, and he's completely separate from it. It's so
Yeah.
funny. Um, yeah, so I'm trying to involve him more, but it's hard. I
He's too important for that.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah. He has outgrown our little country. He can't
Well,
be.
there's a Brazilian community too, but I don't know anyone so
Yeah,
from
but
that
okay,
community.
but if you're saying there is a Brazilian community, Brazilian is a big fucking country,
Well, but there's not many Bitcoiners.
right? And here, the Netherlands is a very small country, and there are a lot of Bitcoiners, so it's different. At least in that regard, it's different. But he went to a meetup once, so he was afraid that it was gonna be full of people who are only gonna talk about price all the time.
Hmm.
So when I saw him at the meetup, I approached him and asked him, it's like, okay, what do you think about the price? And
What
he
did he
looked
say?
he looked over. He was a bit confused and he looked a bit annoyed. And he's like, yeah, I don't really care about that stuff.
He didn't know who you were.
No. We've never actually met before, so yeah, it was funny. Yeah, well, it's funny how these things go. So do you know any do you know or meet any Bitcoiners away from keyboard?
No, I don't. No, except the ones I've converted myself, which were known before.
Ah, okay. So the comforts among your own friends or and family and stuff.
Yeah,
So you're alone out there.
yeah, I am.
Oh,
I
that's
don't want to
rough.
go to these meetups. I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid they're only going to talk about the price.
So one thing. How far is your head removed from your microphone?
About 5 centimeters.
Okay, that should be fine. Okay. Um, so I saw a, I think a week or 2 weeks ago I saw a couple of tweets about Bold. Is it Bold 11 or Bold 12?
Are you recording this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Uh, so what tweets?
So they were about the impact of the new Bold standard. That's Bold. Is it Bold 12 or 11? What's the new one?
12. Yeah.
12. Yeah. So they were about the impact of the features in Bolt 12 in terms of recurring payments and that kind of stuff.
Who
Um,
who wrote these? Who wrote that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you want me to look it up? It's not like we prepared anything.
No, no.
We don't
Just say.
we don't even have an intro.
I didn't know you were recording this. So
Ah, okay.
go on.
So maybe we should have an intro. We
No,
are
you
the
shouldn't.
hashed podcast.
This is ridiculous.
Fake Brian, fake Ruben. We are the hashed podcast. Telling
Okay.
everything that they know. Let me see.
You're good. You're good at this. I think we should be the anti-hash podcast and just comment on what they said and say they're done, and etc.
We are anti Ruben and anti Brian. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a series of tweets from ln.capital.
Hmm.
Bolt 12 is a sleeping giant, but 99% of Bitcoiners don't understand it yet. In this thread, we'll break down as simply as possible. So first, they're gonna talk about what Bolt is. We don't care. Don't care. Um, hmm. So then
So
they start talking about what like right now the situation with Bolt 11 invoices, that you have a destination, an amount, and a payment secret. So that's it's a one-time use only. You have to request an amount, so it's like an invoice, right? And then with Bolt 12, I think like the
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
that you can have static QRs and that kind of stuff, right?
yeah.
So as somebody who is very much involved in the LN stuff, what is your perspective on the Bolt 12?
Jesus Christ. I've talked about this so much.
Yes, and now I'm
Everybody already
asking you.
knows. Everybody knows my opinion, but yeah, I changed it. I changed my opinion. I think it's cool, and the tech people like it because it's cool. It's nice. You do a bunch of you send bytes over the wire, so it's cool. But I think it's useless. It's not completely useless, but I think it's a waste of time. There are more important things to solve. Because no, I think people compare that to LNURL Pay, which also gives you a static QR code and you can send payments. But LNURL Pay was created to to a B2C thing, a B2C context. Like someone is buying a pizza and they can just pay the same QR code. This example is terrible, but anyway, they could pay the same QR code again and again and get the same pizza. But I think it worked better in the like
Yeah, but
in the
okay.
bits.
So, but let's uh, the
Yeah,
thing
but
the question
the boat 12 thing is for people that like they think Bitcoin is very cool because they can send money to their friends and they think that's the holy grail of UX. Yeah, you can send money to your friends without having to ask. You can send money like if they have given you a Bitcoin address, and that's what they want. They want to send money to friends. But I think this is a terrible use case,
why?
or because that's not the bulk of the payments people do in the real world. Like in the real world, you pay for stuff. You
You're
don't give
you're ob-
money to friends.
you're obviously not Dutch.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
What?
So
Why does that matter?
no, because we over here we have this thing called Tiki,
Hmm.
and it allows you to pay your friends very easily.
I
Because we
don't remember
split bill.
when was the last time I gave money to a friend of
No,
mine.
because
Maybe 5 years ago.
we split bills all the time. So what it allows us
Because
to do.
you're very young. You go to bars and you pay stuff with friends, but that doesn't happen very often. Like how many things you buy that you're not splitting with your friends?
Okay, so this okay. Let's take a step back because I don't think the type of argument you're making is so the type of argument you're making is one about prioritization more than some fundamental position as to whether this type of features should be part of the spec at all.
Yeah, yeah, but let like enlighten me about how many times you split bills and pay your friends.
Um,
And,
fairly often.
hmm,
Yeah, so it's you pay something. So you somebody asks you, is like, can you get me this type of, can you get me this from the supermarket, or can you do this for me, or I'll just buy you, and then I'll just send them a ticket, which is basically an invoice, and
hmm,
they'll pay me back. But
okay.
I don't. But this is what I said. This is an argument on priority or market demand or that type of stuff. But it doesn't sound like any fundamental argument in regards to any fundamental position as to whether or not this type of stuff should be in the spec or not.
Okay, do you want a fundamental
Yeah, I'd
argument?
rather have that because otherwise it's just like, okay, well, what did we do this year? It's like, okay, I rather would have had that they developed this stuff this year, but like
Yeah,
on a
but
time scale of 10 years, like who the fuck cares if
okay,
what
okay,
became before or after?
okay. But do I have to have a fundamental argument? I
No,
don't
you
have
don't. You
one.
don't have to. It's just that I'm very disappointed if you don't have to. If the only basis of your argument is like, well, I think we should have spent time on other stuff first, then it's like, who cares? It's we're at such a fundamental stage of development of all these things that um uh I think.
I don't know. I think it's important. I think prioritization is important. But okay.
Okay, so I give
I have other arguments, but
okay, okay,
I don't want to
okay.
make them. I don't want to make them. I don't know if they're good enough. And if I think this one is the best argument I have, the prioritization one. And if you think it's like, hmm, if you think it doesn't count, then yeah, the other ones are like, this expands the network because you're using the Lightning network as a like a Tor network, like you can send arbitrary messages through any node passing through the channels themselves, and like can if you enable that, if you make that a thing, uh, that like people will start to use it to stream video. Like it would be easy to spam, so but they have workarounds for that, and the lightning overloads that control us, they have thought about these things, they're working around that, etc. So maybe they will find a way. I don't know.
Okay,
I
so
I I used it to be very belligerent about this and complain a lot, but I don't want to do that anymore. So I've fallen back to my prioritization argument.
okay, so I think this is interesting because this is one of the things that I was wondering as to um, the communication that's going on uh, between the nodes. Is it actually just node to node in terms of do they make like an IP connection directly, or is it going over the Lightning network?
They can do direct connection, but the idea is that it would go like through your channel peers, through their channel peers until it reach the destination, because that's their privacy claim. That makes everything private, and also because yeah, there are other stuff like they claim they will be able to do that in non-custodial mobile wallets, such that the mobile wallet will be able to receive the payment and without having to have a server or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that, right?
Yeah. Well, I did.
That's a big part of what they say Boat 12 is good for.
Oh, okay. So
And I think that's kind of a that's that point is very fragile because you can't, right? Your mobile wallet's it's turned off. Your Lightning app is shut down, and you can't receive payments. You have
right.
to be online to receive payments. So they go and say, oh, but you can send a message through Google push notifications or whatever Apple has
Mm-hmm.
that wakes up the app, and then the app talks to the channel peer sends completes the payment. But if you're using that, then I think it's very weird that they say, oh, it's very private, but you rely on Google and it's very decentralized, but you need Google push messaging stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also it opens the door for someone like if you give me your Boat12 address for your mobile phone, I can just pretend to pay you all the entire day and never pay anything, but just wake up your phone all the time to get the payment metadata before actually sending the payment. So I will be able to wake up your phone all the time and spend all your battery. So it's very, I don't know if this is, if I'm speaking bullshit here, but I think it is something that can happen.
I think it's interesting because uh, So the fundamental question here is, uh, it just relates to running a server, right? Which what it boils down to, and there is personally I'm of the opinion that everybody is gonna run a node. What and node in quotes, like, everybody's gonna run a server. And as to what extent, what type of actions or functions that server is gonna facilitate, that there is a spectrum there. But I don't think that, um, running a server is ultimately all that big a deal.
Mm.
And there are all these people saying, like, well, not everybody's gonna run a node, and we have to think of. They're basically making this the think of the children argument. Think of these people that don't know anything, are incapable of doing anything, and can't be bothered to do anything. Um, think of all these people. Personally, I don't give a fuck about those people. I don't see why we should give a fuck about those people. They're also, it's like, um, well, in poorer countries, etc. It's like, well, I don't necessarily give a fuck about those people either, because I live in in a first world country where we have 24/7 power. We have a good internet connection. We have all this stuff. I'm primarily, my focus is getting Bitcoin to be the monetary and then monetary and financial infrastructure for a fucking modern society, not some Stone Age society that has like, what's the fucking point? It's like, yeah, well, we have this ultra modern money system for a Stone Age society. So I think that that's a silly perspective. And
Yeah, I
but
think.
but but
Uh,
just to get back on my point of, like, everybody having a server, if I look at this problem, it's like, okay, all you actually need, the bare minimum that you need, is just to have some sort of computer that's on 24/7, connected to the internet 24/7, that is able to handle communication. If it's only signing, right? Only doing signing stuff, so it's not even running a Lightning client or anything. So I'm offloading running the actual Lightning wallet or client to some third party, right? But I need to be online just to sign stuff whenever I'm asked, and to verify that I'm actually gonna that I want to sign the thing that I'm supposed to sign. That's a microcontroller with a SIM card in it, and a Wi-Fi module, right? That's a couple of bucks. I plug it into the wall. It has a SIM card now. It has an internet connection, and it can do its stuff. Maybe put an HSM there. It gets it a little bit more expensive, but
yeah, but people in poor countries, people that
they
can't
they
do
don't have
anything.
sockets. They don't have electricity sockets. What's the point? It's like, so we have
Yeah,
to focus on the homeless people. It's like, we have to make
yeah,
sure that Bitcoin works for all the homeless people first, before we can actually make it work for, like, modern, ultra modern society, for, like, in the
yeah.
next
I agree
fucking
with you. I
century.
agree with you. I agree with you. But I also think, like, yeah, I'm you're such a Bitcoiner. I am not. I defend custodial solutions, etc. I think these people that can be bothered to do anything, they don't have power. If they don't have power, they can have a phone. But yeah, um, they can use custodial solutions, and I'm fine with that. But these people that defend both 12, they are not found. They are not fine with that. They want the poor people that live on the street without power to have a phone with a Lightning wallet on the phone that has a boat 12 QR code for some reason. Because these people are going to restaurants and splitting beers with their friends. But yeah, I think that this argument is stupid. Like, if you don't know how to run a server, if you can't run a server, you also can't run a mobile wallet that has actual channels in it and an actual Bitcoin key and does actual signing, because you lose that. You're gonna lose that, and you're gonna lose all your money.
Yes,
So
but okay, so there are two things here that you mentioned. So one is the overhead of running a client, and the infrastructure, let's say, and the other one is key management. And
no,
and
it's not key management. It's like your channel is broken. Your phone has to be online.
No, no, no,
Your
no, no. So
payment
that's
got stuck.
yes, but that's in regard to running the infrastructure.
Okay.
Anyone can run the infrastructure for you. That's not the issue. It's just as to who has the key to sign off on things.
Okay. I think you're thinking about someone running the server and you signing stuff like that, the green light stuff, right?
Yeah, for
You saw
example.
that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah,
So
there's one thing like there's no space on the chain for everybody to have a lightning channel. A lightning channel. Doesn't matter if it's everybody running green light or whatever. The network won't scale to a million nodes. Like you wouldn't be able to route.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure as to whether that's actually true. Well, currently, sure. Yeah, I mean, currently you're right. But if we extrapolate things to, and of course this is speculation, but if we extrapolate it to towards a future where we have stuff like channel factories and stuff, the 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 amount of scaling that occurs if you are with 5 people inside of a channel instead of 2, it's insane. Both in terms of connectivity and just onboarding the amount of people. If you get that up to 10, I mean all that stuff is just it's complexity in coordination, and it's a very thorny issue. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but ultimately it is very easy as long as people just have a server, a computer that's plugged in 24/7 with an internet connection. Then all this coordination stuff, it's just write the protocols, write the clients, write the software.
Mm. Yeah, if people have that, that's very easy, much easier.
Yes.
But
Well,
still, people, if you want to receive and send payments just for yourself, just to split bills with your friends, today you need like at least three channels, right?
mhm.
And then if every people in the first world country has 3 channels, that's already enough to bloat.
Okay, so let's take a step back first. How would you how would you define Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is that.
Are you sure you're fiatjaf? Are you not rocket fuel?
Or is that a real question? I don't have to. Do
I
you
don't.
want me to define Bitcoin?
Yeah, no, it is a
Who
real
is
question.
Rocket Fuel? Do you know this guy?
Well, do you know anybody who's on Telegram? He could be anybody.
I think yeah, he's very very. He's in all channels and all Telegram channels that exist. He's in there now. He might be from the CIA. Okay, okay. Let's change the topic.
No, no, no.
What's the next news you have there? I hate lightning. I don't want to talk about lightning. I hate this stuff. Okay, go on. Let's talk about space chains.
we're here with fiatjaf, famous for all his lightning stuff. Breaking news: he hates lightning. No, but seriously, what is Bitcoin? Or okay, let's not do Bitcoin then. What is lightning? How would you define lightning, or describe lightning?
Lightning is that network of channels.
Okay, that's a very technical description.
Yeah.
Uh,
What did you want me to say? Oh, Lightning is a fast Bitcoin. Is a magic that lets you send Bitcoin very fast without paying $50 for each transaction.
well, that's a answer. That's basically the answer that I think was it Blue Matt Gate that with is it the block? There was this video. They
Yeah, a very very weird video.
Yeah, the guys that make the what is it, the library or the
LDK.
yeah, the LDK. So there
Yeah,
they
there's
gave
a video with Jack.
yeah, they gave but there they gave the explanation of like, yeah, it's doing very fast Bitcoin payments. And I think thinking of Lightning in terms of doing fast Bitcoin payments is missing the point, if you ask me.
Well, my answer was a network of channels.
Right. I think that's correct. It's just not saying all that much because it's a very technical description. But yeah, it's correct.
What's your description?
It's a liquidity network, which is
Yeah, you like to use words that have a lot of meaning in them, but they have to be explained.
right, because that makes that it's only a short statement. Um, no, but it's ultimately the same answer you gave. It's like a network of channels. But if um, but in terms of like, okay, it's a liquidity network, and it's not all that different as to how the analogy to how our current monetary and financial system in terms of infrastructure is set up is fairly similar. We're doing fairly similar things. If you look at what Swift and all these other systems, how they work, you can see the analogy, and it's completely logical as to what the progression of Bitcoin is in these things. The difference between the two is that one is relied on trust. So they are these centralized institutions made up of humans, where the guarantees of the system are enforced by law and men with guns, right? Ultimately, and courts and all these types of systems. Whereas with in the system of Bitcoin, it's uh, enforced by not post hoc, not after the fact, but before the fact by constraints set in contracts and the signature signing with keys and that kind of stuff in cryptography. And that's a different. And that's important because one is one is permissioned, and the new system built on top of Bitcoin is permissionless. You don't need a banking license in order to run a Lightning node. Are you doing effectively something different? No, not necessarily. But there is no reason for any regulation to be there because there is no reason for any liquidity requirements, right? In order to have a banking license, you have to have a certain amount of money to start out with. That's because
Yeah, but
there's
there's no
risk involved.
reason. There's no reason for banking licenses to exist.
Of course there are. There
There are
are.
not.
Yeah, okay, but
You say like you're talking about the law that guarantees the trust that you put in the bank relationships, but that could still exist without the a huge amount of bureaucracy and the the system didn't have to be closed. You
I
could
don't
just
I
you
don't
could just talk to a bank and the bank would allow you to open a credit relationship with it, and then you have a bank.
no, because then the point. So I'm not arguing the minutia or the concrete uh, uh, makeup of the current system. I'm arguing the mere abstraction of this current system as to the fact that you need laws and regulations and permits and that kind of stuff. Because otherwise, it's just the whole point is that if you're saying, well, you don't need that stuff, well, just the barrier of committing fraud is just too low. It's just way too easy to commit fraud if you don't put in that stuff. The reason that we put in that stuff is just uh, uh, to create such a barrier towards fraud, right? Create these barriers towards crime. That's the reason that we got there. Now, I'm not arguing as to whether the current state is perfect or uh, um, if we have too much regulation and that type of stuff. That's not the point that I'm arguing. But the point that I'm arguing is that all the trust enforcement is post hoc via law and courts and policemen and all that type of stuff instead of just instead of the constraints set up by contracts. There is no liquidity requirements. There's no need for regulation in terms of liquidity requirements in Lightning because you either have the BTC or you don't. And it's whatever you can do is directly proportional to the BTC that you have. You can start a Lightning bank, quote unquote, with $100 worth of
What if
Bitcoin
no
or a
one wants to
million.
open a channel with you?
What do you say?
What if no one wants to open a channel with you? The entire network has
Yeah,
a
then
path.
so then your name is Roger Ver, right? And then tough luck.
No, because they have a regulation. Well, all the nodes that exist, they agreed to create a regulation to prevent new nodes to join from joining. So they want open channels to anyone that doesn't pass their requirements, etc. So you can still have a channel with your friend, but you can't join the broad network. They have screwed you.
But so based on what? Based on
I don't
personal
know.
preference or based on law?
Could be either. I'm just saying that it's possible for the Lightning Network to become a closed system like the banking network that we have.
Oh, sure, but but that's a regulatory overlay. There's nothing inherent to that system. There's nothing inherent to Bitcoin and Lightning that
But
prevents
there's
you.
nothing inherent to the banking system either that requires this that it be a closed system with a few players.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's not argue that. But there's this stuff about free banking, etc. Blah blah blah.
Yes, but then you're not
The
using.
free market.
Yes, but then you're not using dollars, right? Then you're not using euros. Then you're not using
Why
government
not? You
issued
could.
money.
Yeah, you could use, like, why can I open a bank myself and then I connect to other banks that I know, people I know and I trust, and we have credit relationships, and that's it. We could do it, and then we could connect to a big bank that exists. Maybe, why not?
No, because your door is gonna get kicked in.
Because the state will send the policeman here to punish me.
Right.
But there's not this is not inherent to the system. This is just an arbitrary rule that they created to extract more money from the system and extract power, etc. And yeah, to make it closed, so to prevent competition.
Okay, but here, okay, the point here is in terms of the point here is in terms of censorship resistance, right? What is required for you to set up that type of operation is very different. You need to have actual physical trucks. If you're gonna have to do it based on cash, right? Because if you cannot do it all based on other.
Yeah, that's true.
So you
Okay,
need
okay. I
you.
think I get a point. I get a point. I'm just trying to be nitpicky.
Yeah, that's sure. That's fine.
Yeah.
So the
So how
and
do we enforce an HTOC of 100 sets?
um so this comes down to the because we're basically referring to previous argument that we had. So it comes down to the atomicity of the payment, right?
Okay.
So if the actual payment occurred, then the the size of the particular payment is not necessarily relevant in relation to the history of activity that occurred on the particular channel.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we have to do something because this Zoom thing will kick us out because we didn't pay their fee. There's 1 minute left.
Okay, then we'll just one
Let's
second.
go to that other thing. This one is better.
Ah, okay, we're back. Um. So what were we talking about?
You were rambling about how lightning is magic and will
Ah,
save
okay,
the
yes,
world.
yes, yes. It's this magic thing. No, so my point is that so it's a liquidity network, and as to what the spectrum of utility is of that liquidity network, it's still unknown. And on the one hand of that spectrum, we have like a intra-bank settlement system, let's say, of these larger institutions setting a large amounts of money every so often, right? So it's in. So the spectrum is both in on two axes, both in terms of the volume, the amount of money that's involved, and the frequency of settlement. And so on the one hand we have large amounts of money with low frequency of settlement, and then on the other hand we have small amounts of money on a high frequency of settlement. So that would be like paying for API calls or something, right? That
Yeah.
or a chat application where you pay for every freaking character, or whatever streaming payments, right? And so that's the spectrum. And as to what the utility of the Lightning Network is, well, I mean, I can think it's fairly safe to say that in terms of this intra-bank settlement network system, which now the first use case would be inter-exchange, right? Inter-exchange settlement network, liquidity network. That should work, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Lightning would work for that. But as to whether it would work for the streaming payment use case, I don't know. Probably not.
I think it will work. I think it will work but it will work based on trust. Like it's already working based on trust today. No one is expecting all the payments to fail and they have to go on chain, close the channels for every time, right? So there's trust involved there. You won't open a channel to some node that just closes the channel all the time on your face. I don't know if is it fair to call this trust, but I think it is.
No, okay. So okay, but then uh, that's also on a spectrum, right? So the technically it would be better to talk about trust minimization, and it's just about what types of guarantees do you have, and the type of guarantee that I have when I open a channel with you is that I'm not gonna lose all my money.
Yeah,
That doesn't necessitate that I'm not gonna lose some of the money or time, right? Or and time is money ultimately. So, um, or inhibit occur costs due to the fact that my liquidity is locked for a certain amount of time because I have to wait for um, the time lock to run out before I can actually claim my money back. So that's what is it? What's the timetable? 2 weeks or something?
yeah. I think the default is 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the those are risks involved, but they're so it's just the trust minimization comes from the fact that not the fact that there's zero risk, but the fact that I'm aware of what the risks are, and the risks are what actually the risks are. They're not other risks, right?
Yeah, yeah. As far as I know, uh, yeah. I would prefer a network that didn't have HTOCs. It would be simpler. Like you still have your money, but for the payments that are in flight, you don't have to do all the complexities they do today. You would just trust your peers on these payments before they are settled. Yeah.
And what
Anyway, I think it would simplify stuff. It
and
doesn't
but
matter.
what would
That's
be
not what you're talking about. Yeah.
no, but I get it. But what would be the added value between that and just simple a centralized custodial solution?
Well, it's only a very small part of your money that is at risk at all times, and it's still an open network, etc.
Okay, but okay, and this revolves into the so in your scheme would the payment still be atomic, like when
No,
it's
it
done,
wouldn't. It wouldn't be atomic.
right? So how are you gonna settle your
That's what I'm saying. That's why I ask you about the 100 sets payment because they are not atomic. Your the the receiver can receive the payment, and you may not know that you paid them. Like you don't have a proof that you paid them, and that's not atomic. And if the Bitcoin fees go up and up and up as we expect them to do, although they're failing to do that for the last 5 years, um, if they go up, then this limit will go up from 300 to 5,000 to 10,000. I don't know. Then all the payments will not be atomic at all anymore. And you're still going to treat them as if they were atomic and do all the on chain complexities, closed channel magic. that spends a lot of time and money.
But why is the value of the okay why is the size of the delta between the previous state and the current state?
Yeah, because while the payment is not settled, like you have a balance, and when you send a payment, you add another. Like there are two balances in the channel. That is, the channel can be closed at any moment, and a part of the money will go to one peer, and another part will go to the other peer. And then when we initiate a payment, you add another balance to that. The balance is the balance of that payment that is being sent. And when the payment is settled, that yeah, when you receive a message back from the peer with the preimage for the payment that proves that you paid, uh, then the channel state is updated to have two balances again.
Right.
And that, yeah. So that if that third balance is smaller than the fee that you would be required to pay to claim it later, uh, then it's not really created. It's just imagined.
No, because there I disagree because so first off there are the transaction is signed, right? By both
There's no,
parties.
yeah, this third balance I'm talking about is the HTOC, right? It's a an output of a Bitcoin transaction
Right.
that spans from the channel multisig, and who can claim that output? Either you or your peer. It can be you that initiated the payment if some amount of time have passed, or it could be your peer if your peer can provide a pre-image proving that he had forwarded the payment to the next peer.
Yes, but the HLC itself is not a separate output, is it?
Yes, it is. And if you have multiple payments, you have one separate output for each. That's what guarantees the atomicity of the thing. Because if your peer has the preimage, it only has that because it forwarded the payment to the next peer, and the next peer sent the preimage to him.
But
And
why
then
is it a separate output and not just calculated in the delta between like the two outputs among the two channel participants?
because you don't know who is going to get that third
I
thing.
see.
You only know that after in the normal operation, your peer will give you the preimage, and you say, "Oh, okay, now let's update the channel, and this third output will go to your balance." And then there's only two outputs again. But while that doesn't happen, there's a third one that could be could go to either side.
Okay, so then you're okay, but then um so then your point is that any transaction below the dust limit there's no even and it's not even at the dust limit, right? But that's a hard cutoff point.
Yeah, yeah,
Um there is no point in making the HLC because you cannot create the output in okay, technically you should be able to create the output in the transaction, but there's no point to it. It's basically burning
yeah.
Bitcoin.
The protocol doesn't. The Lightning protocol says that the peers calculate the fee that would be required to redeem that HTOC if necessary,
Mhm.
and if the fee is bigger than the output amount, it's not created. It's just the that amount is goes to the mining fee. But both peers they pretend that output's there.
I see. So, but then like the 100 set transaction is already based on trust, right?
It's kinda, yeah. It's based on trust. It's based on the fact that your peer won't try to cheat you because it won't get anything, and also it will close the channel. If anything goes wrong with a payment that's in flight, the channel gets closed, and like your peer has no interest in closing the channel for no reason. It
Mhm.
won't get anything. The money will go to miners, but what could happen is you sent a payment your peer forwarded the payment, and your peer has a pre-image that it got because the payment was so successful. The receiver sent the pre-image back, and the pre-image reached your peer, and now your peer is sending you the pre-image, and you like you can you were offline, or your node is broken, so you can't get the pre-image. Then your peer will close the channel and try to redeem that HTLC on chain, and it does that by providing the pre-image on the Bitcoin chain. But there's no HTLC, so it will close the channel. After the channel is closed, it will look and see, oh, there's no HTLC here. Sorry. So so what happened in this case is you paid, the receiver got the payment, but the receiver can't say, "Oh, I didn't get anything,"
Mm-hmm.
because and you can't prove that you paid because you don't have the pre-image.
But so then but then if I understand correctly, your argument for let's skip all the HLC stuff is only for smaller amounts and not necessarily for all size payments.
Well, it could be just for the smaller amounts. You skip the HTOC and you rely on trust. And if your peer, if any of the peers is offline or failing to work correctly, you would have to report that to someone else. And I don't know how that would work, but that someone else wouldn't have a lot of power, but it would be a judge, an arbiter, should evaluate who is the bad one acting, and then the bad one would just eat the loss, because it like if you're offline, you're offline, so you wouldn't like try to steal 100 sets, so you would eat the loss. And if you don't, then everybody knows you're a bad actor. No one opens a channel with you anymore. But
Right.
yeah,
So
but for the bigger payments, we could still use the HTLC. But I don't know. Maybe if this system works for small payments, you could do bigger payments like by splitting them in multiple parts, and just so that there's no much money at risk. I don't know. I'm just thinking about this. I don't know if it was a good idea. If it was a good idea, it would be already implemented, right? Because the geniuses had would have thought about it.
well, so I can understand the reasoning for. I can understand why you need the guarantees in terms of larger payments. I can also see your point as to whether in small payments it's just a facade that you're doing this exercise because you're not actually doing the exercise. The the interesting thing is like to what extent can these if you don't create any enforcement mechanisms in terms of in-flight payments, right? What opportunity is there to abuse this stuff? And I think I don't see a lot of opportunity. I don't see a lot of opportunity to abuse these things because you need to, in order the opportunity to abuse this thing is like this one-time thing for this one-time payment that is in flight, or maybe there are a couple of payments that are in flight. So
I think you could like pay yourself, and I don't know. Yeah, I have to think about it, but I don't want to think about it.
but then okay, so then but the problem is that there's no repeatability here. You can do it once, but in order
Yeah,
to create the opportunity for you to repeat the action, maybe with the same person or a different party, you have to recreate the channel.
yeah. In today, you would have to recreate the
Right.
channel. In my ideal world, you wouldn't lose the channel. Yeah, that's my problem. Like my problem is that you're losing the channel because of an HTOC that doesn't exist.
No,
You have to
regardless
close.
of the HLC, just the fact that if you're screwing the other person over, right? So there are no enforcement mechanisms for in-flight payments. You are screwing the other party over because there is no enforcement. The other party, as a result, closes the channel because that's what you do when you're thinking, okay, he's fucking me over.
Yeah,
I'm gonna quit this. I'm gonna take my loss and quit this relationship.
yeah. that's what happens today. Like today, every time if you're offline for some reason or your node had a bug, communication error, then your peer interprets that as you're screwing me and close the channel. But then if you go online again, you can open a channel again, and the peer won't even like it wouldn't do anything. You just accept the channel in 100% of the cases. So it's not really it doesn't really think you were screwing it. Otherwise, it wouldn't accept the channel for
Okay,
you.
but that's also so this is also a to or let's phrase it as a question. To what extent is this a result of the enforcement mechanism that is implemented in Lightning right now, right?
I don't understand the
What
question.
difference? Okay, what difference would it make if we're operating in an L2 situation?
No difference. You'd still have the same thing, same HTOCs, PTOCs, as they say with the Schnorr stuff.
Right, but but I'm think in the
The fact is that you have to close the channel to claim the HTOC because the HTOC is an output of the channel. That like
uh-huh.
there's one thing, one output, one output that is your channel, and you have to publish the transaction that you both pre-signed that allows you to claim your part of that channel.
Yes, but
And
you said that the HLC itself is like the third output, right?
yeah, you claim your side and you claim the third one.
Okay.
So you have to publish, you have to close the channel and then
But
provide
yes,
whatever
but
you need.
so the idea behind my question is I don't have to necessarily be frantic about the actions of my peer in my channel if I'm running in an L2 situation, right? There's
What's
nothing
the difference?
because there's no situation where somebody can claim all the money.
Yeah, but that's not the case. That's not the problem here. Like the problem here is that you're running like you're afraid that your peer will steal the HTOC. The HTOC is just the in-flight payment. So you're afraid that your peer will steal the 100 sets because you have there's a time lock and a hash lock,
Uh-huh.
and you have the preimage, so you can claim it by the hash lock condition. And if enough time passes, your peer will be able to claim it by the time lock condition. So you have to go move fast, close the channel, and use your hash lock condition to claim that HCOC. Otherwise, your peer will like you risk your peer claiming those 100 sets so precious that don't even exist.
Okay, let's because the last time I technically looked into Lightning was in 2018, I think. So maybe one of these days I'll read Mastering Lightning, and then we'll revisit this discussion.
Yeah, okay. I
Uh,
talk about this all the time. No one knows. No one thinks about these things.
the-
No one knows. I think the intricate detail. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, if I'm not going to read this stuff, but if you read, you tell me.
so what
Okay.
you wanted to change topics and ask me a question. So what question did you ask
What
earlier?
was your favorite part of the last Unhashed podcast?
If I can recall the last, was it out of date? I think it was like a few weeks old, right? I got the
Yeah, the
sense it
one that
was
there was one that got released like 2 days ago, something like that.
really 2 days ago.
I think there was one.
No, they published one last week, and then it wasn't. And I think it was like 2 weeks old or something.
They're so bad. They're so terrible podcast.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If it's like there's one rule in podcasting, it's consistency.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily or any media publication, right? It doesn't matter what you produce. just be consistent. If you're
Are
publishing
you saying
bullshit,
this podcast will be very consistent?
yes, we're gonna be consistently not posting any on any particular time.
Okay. Well, I think
What?
I think the consistency is not very important. Once you have these podcast apps that fetch the RSS feeds for you, and you just get bombarded with a bunch of new episodes.
No, 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 because that's
So
not
if
how
you
it
go,
works.
if you
Because
if
how it works, how it works is that you have an audience, and that audience integrates listening to your stuff into their lives, right? So if you publish once a week on Thursday, then your audience is gonna integrate the fact that it's gonna be published on Thursday into their lives. So maybe it's like I'm gonna listen to it on Friday morning when I'm in the car, or I'm
yeah,
gonna listen to it at Thursday night, or whatever, right? So if it's not there, that's a frustration, and that's how you lose your audience. So so slowly over time you gain your audience by the fact that they're integrating listening to your stuff into their lives, and the moment you screw that up, you're gonna lose them. So that's why the consistency thing. If your quality is really good, right? If you have very good content, then your growth rate is going to be a lot higher. If your content's really shit and your potential is also a lot higher, right? The potential audience is a lot bigger. But even if you're publishing complete shit, the fact that the earth is so large and there are so many people, is that there are gonna be 10,000 people interested in your bullshit. So it's only a matter of time till you catch all 10,000 of them. So you only have to be consistent for like 5 years, and then you have like 80% of your 10,000 audience. And then you probably have to do it another 5 years for that last 2,000 people, and then you have them, right? So that's how this
yeah, I
stuff
think you
works.
have a theory for that. Yeah.
Did you
No,
did you
that's not my experience at all. I just subscribe to a lot of podcasts, and then I get bombarded with with like not payments, uh, with episodes that I don't expect them to happen. They just appear. I don't know why they appeared or when they were created. I don't read the dates, and
Yes,
that
well,
happens.
it's very smart of you to have no expectations in regards to the Unhushed podcast.
Yeah, I just forget about it, and then a lot of other podcasts happen, and they show up here, and I just delete them and don't listen to most of them. And sometimes I listen to some, and
Did
then sometimes there's an unhashed podcast. I say, oh, this one I had forgotten about it, and yeah, I
did
don't
you
know if these other ones are keeping some consistency. Well, I don't know. Maybe they are.
did you watch ASL season 14?
Yes, I did. Did you?
Yeah, I did. I'm rewatching the round of 24 because I or catching up on the round of 24 because I skipped it. Um,
But you already know who won.
yeah. I watched the rest.
Yeah.
But the strange thing is, I just can't recall matches. Like I watch them, and then like if you were to ask me the day after, it's like, what do you think of it? It's like I can't remember.
I remember some, only the ones that I like very much. Not none in this season. I think one from Snow against some Zerg rep that was very good. I remember one of these, but uh, nothing at all. I remember from the last season. I remember the final. The final was like 4-0 for Light against uh, Rain, and he
No,
just
not season 13.
yeah.
No, season 13 finale was great. I don't think it was a 4-0.
I think it was a 4-0. It was a complete destruction. The other guy didn't have any chance.
Was it?
There was one game that he started with a Nexus first, and the Terran guy came up with his Marines and a Vulture, and he just gave up and went back to his home base, thinking that the Terran guy would kill his Nexus and go away. But the Terran guy just went through his base and killed him. Yeah, okay. That's
I
my StarCraft commentary. And
I
the last season before that one was the one that Mini won, and he made that Protoss airplane thing. What's the name of that?
Carrier,
No, the smaller one. That one.
Corsair,
No, the other one.
Scout.
Scout. Yeah, he made the Scout, and
We only have the
was it?
Arbiter left, so it's. Oh wait,
He made a
Observer.
Scout.
There is Observer as well. Okay, yeah, Scout. Oh wait, yeah. Is that season 12? Then maybe I'm thinking of
Yeah,
season 12. That was
yeah.
Mini versus. It was Zerg versus Protoss, right?
No, Mini versus Rush. Yeah, Mini just won all the games with carriers because he doesn't know how to play against Terran, doing anything else. He just knows how to make carriers.
I fucking hate carriers, dude. They're so annoying. So what race do you play?
I play Protoss,
Ah,
yeah,
fuck you.
because you play Terran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I play, I barely play any melee, but the if I play, then I play Terran. Yeah, and
No,
carriers are just so fucking annoying. I hate Terran versus Protoss.
well, I hate it too. I lose all my games. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. Yeah, when I try to make carriers, I don't know how to control them, so I just die. Yeah,
The difficult
I
thing between
play I play like one game per month, and I've done that for about a year. So I've played 12 games. Yeah, I don't know. That's not. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, I'm exaggerating, but it's somewhat like that. And before that, I have not played for 10 years, so no, 20 years. So I'm terrible, but I
I've
like the game. It's very good, very
I,
good
I've
game.
I've somewhat consistently played for the I guess what is it 22 years now or something, but not really melee. I when I really really started getting into playing StarCraft competitively, that was right before the period when StarCraft 2 came out. So I was at my top of my game, and then the StarCraft 2 came out, or the beta for StarCraft 2 came out. So then I just went into the beta for StarCraft 2, and then
Uh,
StarCraft 2 actually came out. So that was basically the streak, and then I played 2 seasons of StarCraft 2 ladder.
so you were a pro.
No, I wasn't a pro. I
You
didn't
were like
I didn't earn any money.
high.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was at the top of the ladder at that stage, yeah,
Nice.
or in the highest regions, yeah.
So I guess you would beat like three of me against you.
that that depends.
I I guess three of me would have enough workers to kill you even if you're very good.
Right. You only have to you only have to like 3 4 pools, and then it's I don't have any chance. No, but I really like the game. But I don't play any competitive StarCraft. I just played all the mini games.
Yeah, that's very bad. The mini games have nothing at all to do with the real game.
So
It's
it's
just they're just another game.
right,
It's
they
just a
are.
very an inferior game that you're playing.
It's so for the most part I play like I say I play StarCraft, but I'm actually just playing the engine, right?
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm just and the thing is because the engine is so ingrained into my I in, into to my brain. It's like second nature to play within that engine. That it's very easy for me to just play and then listen to stuff because that's ultimately what I'm playing for. I'm just playing to in order to not get distracted, for me to listen to things.
yeah, yeah. I get it. I used to do that too many years ago. I would play Warcraft 3 mini games and listen to stuff.
Okay, so I don't know what. I don't think I have a timer on this. Oh, we do. Oh, we're at an hour.
Yeah, this is very long. No one's going to listen.
No, it's hour is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, hour is fine.
yeah. People will listen like three times the speed, and it would be 20 minutes.
I can't listen to sped up audio.
Have you tried?
Yes, and I can't do it because I cannot passively listen to sped up audio because it's artificial. I know I can hear just in the fact that you can hear it in the breathing, in the surrounding noises. You can just hear that it's not that it's sped up.
Yeah, yeah, that's the point. It is sped up.
Yes, and that fucks up with my ability to listen to it. I cannot passively listen to that stuff.
Have you tried like 1.1 times?
Okay, I'd probably be able to manage 1.1. Yeah, but what's the
Yeah,
point?
so do that, and after 6 months, you try to speed it up again a little more.
No, because that's not the. It's not a ramp up thing. It's just that it's the same as listening to computer voices. I just can't listen to computer voices. It's like the sound is getting into my ears, but it's not being registered.
And
I'm
you
not.
also can't look at those AI pictures.
Yes, yes. I see black.
I saw black too. I hate that stuff. But
Okay.
they create some monsters. Oh, it's horrible. You tell them to create a human, they create a monster, and you have to look at that. Oh, it's terrible.
Did they to finish up the what's the new game coming up? Stormfrost? Is it? It's a new
Stormgate.
Stormgate. Are you gonna play it when it comes out?
You say, I've told you I can only play one game per month. I don't have time to play these things. I wish I had time so I would be better at StarCraft and I would challenge you. I would call other three guys and challenge you.
No, but are you gonna try Stormgate when it comes out?
I don't know. I need people to play against. And I'm already very lonely playing StarCraft by myself. So it's not worth playing unless I'm yeah.
I
I don't
hate
know.
I hate the visuals.
There's only one video like that has like 10 seconds of gameplay, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not very informative.
it looks terrible. No, but it's the art style. It's the art style transition that Blizzard made in with Warcraft 3, and it looks terrible. I didn't like the art style of Warcraft 3. I didn't like the art style of World of Warcraft, and I didn't like the art style of StarCraft 2 because in StarCraft 2 they basically did the same thing, and it looks like toy soldiers.
Mm. Oh, have you played StarCraft 1 with that toy cartoon
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
kid?
yeah. No, 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 no. I haven't. I think it's very funny. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
haven't because I'm
I always think it would be easier for me to play with that. I don't know.
because
Okay.
I don't have remastered because I'm not gonna pay $10 for a game that I've been playing for 22 years already.
Well, you didn't pay for a remaster, really?
Really? Yeah.
Oh, nice. I
Like
can pay for you.
That's-
That's why you don't play. You can't play on the ladder without remaster.
yeah, yeah. I noticed because I wanted to. I thought I was like, okay, let's try some ladder. 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I can't. Oh, I have to have remaster for that. Okay, well then guess not.
Yeah, it's sad. I still remember my CD key or whatever it's called. That number that they had in the CD when you
It's
bought it.
very funny you say this because my brother is exactly the same. He still remembers the CD key by heart. I can call him right now. I can call him right now and ask him what the CD key is, and he'll be able to tell me.
Yeah,
And I know this
it's
for a
great.
fact because I've been doing that in like for years. Because then I was like, okay, I need to reinstall StarCraft. And I would call my brother. It's like, hey, what's the key? And he would just give you the key, and then I would
And
reinstall StarCraft.
you keep installing the old version with the CD key. No, that was like
No,
before
after
remaster
no.
got.
After a certain time, you could download it from Blizzard. You would add it to your account, but this was before that. You had these accounts and that kind of stuff. Because now it's just added to your account, and you can just download it from the website.
Yeah.
And now it's free anyway, so you don't have to do it anymore. But it's very funny. Yeah, it's
I think
very
they
interesting.
should do like they give remaster to people that remembers the city key.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. Um. Okay, so we started out with
Yeah,
lightning.
next time we do just StarCraft and skip Lightning and Bitcoin.
Okay, that's fine. We can play StarCraft.
No, no, you can't.
Why not?
You're too good.
You don't know.
Okay, I am too bad. I would lose to a net.
We can play one game of StarCraft.
Okay, and then we make a video commenting it.
No, yeah, we can. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can do the commentary live while we're playing as well. But let's
Yeah.
see.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut off. So this is part one of the pilot of
You
the
know, I can't
anti.
even play. I can't even click on the units and tell them to do stuff in speed and speed that is satisfactory. And you want me to talk while I'm doing that? It'd be much worse.
We'll see how it goes. So this was part one of the pilot episode of the anti-hashed podcast series. My name is Anti Ruben. I was recording with Anti Brian, and we all wish you a terrible day.
Yeah. Howdy.